me I would amount to nothing because I was disabled, they made me move out and came back begging when I made millions on my own. I can still remember the smell of home. The faint scent of my mother's lavender detergent clinging to freshly folded laundry. The warm aroma of my father's coffee brewing at 6 a.m., and the sound of my little brother's sneakers squeaking on the kitchen tiles as he darted past me for breakfast. Back then, I believed I belonged there. But life has a cruel way of teaching you otherwise. When I was 12, I was the wild one, always racing my bike down the steep hill by our house, testing the limits of gravity and luck. That summer afternoon felt no different. The sun burned hot against my back as I pedaled faster and faster, the wind whipping my face. I was invincible. Until I wasn't. I didn't see the car until it was too late. The screech of tires, the shattering pain, my body crumpled on the asphalt. Time blurred into hospital lights and the steady beep of machines. I woke up to my parents crying, holding my limp hand like it was the last thread tying me to the world. "You're lucky to be alive," the doctor said. Lucky. That word haunted me. Was I really lucky? Lucky to wake up paralyzed from the waist down. Lucky to need help dressing, bathing, even getting into bed. At first, my family tried. My mom would help me into my chair every morning, my dad built a wooden ramp outside the front door, and my brother would sometimes push me around the block so I could feel the sun on my face. But as weeks became months, something shifted. The smiles grew strained. Conversations grew shorter. And the pity in their eyes hardened into something uglier, resentment. I overheard them one night. "He'll never be able to take care of himself," my father said, his voice low but sharp. "We can't do this forever," my mother replied. It felt like knives slicing through my chest. I wanted to scream, to tell them I was still me, that I'd figure it out. But instead, I stared at the ceiling, silent tears rolling down my cheeks. Years passed like that. I became invisible in my own home. They stopped asking about my dreams, my interests. They only saw the chair. And then came the breaking point. I was 26 when they called me into the kitchen. Bills piled high on the table, red letters screaming overdue. My mother wouldn't meet my eyes. "We can't do this anymore," she said, almost whispering. "It's time you found somewhere else to go. A shelter maybe." No one argued. Not even me. I nodded, my throat tight, and rolled away. In my room, I stared at the faded posters on my walls, remnants of a boy who used to believe the world was his. I thought about ending it all right then. It would be so easy. Just stop fighting, stop hoping. Let the darkness take me. But I didn't. I don't know why. Maybe a stubborn part of me still wanted to prove them wrong. I packed what little I had and left without ceremony. No hugs. No tears. My brother muttered, "Good luck," not even looking up from his phone. The shelter was a cold, chaotic place. The air smelled of sweat and despair. Nights were filled with coughing, snoring, crying. I'd lie awake, staring at the cracked ceiling, wondering if this was all my life would ever be. And yet, something inside me refused to give up. I applied for job after job, wheeling myself across town until my arms ached. Each rejection was a punch to the gut, but I kept going. Finally, a small grocery store took a chance on me. The pay was pitiful, the work exhausting, but it was a start. The owner's kids, Ellie and Max, were the first people in years who looked at me without pity. To them, I wasn't broken. I was funny. I was clever. I was the guy who could make balloon animals out of plastic bags and tell stories about aliens running grocery stores. Their laughter gave me life. The owner noticed too. He promoted me to supervisor. I thanked him, holding back tears in the cramped office. For the first time since the accident, I felt useful. But I wanted more. At night, in my tiny apartment, I bought a second-hand laptop and began teaching myself to code. It was grueling. My hands weren't as steady as they once were. Tutorials blurred through tired eyes. But I refused to quit. When I landed my first freelance gig, building a website for a local artist, I cried like a child. One job turned into 3. 3 turned into 10. I worked tirelessly, often falling asleep at my desk, head resting on the keyboard. Then came the idea for a platform, helping disabled people find remote work. I built it out of anger, out of hope, out of the need to prove I wasn't the only one being dismissed by society. It exploded. Investors came. Money poured in. I became a name in tech circles. Articles called me the richest disabled man in the country. But to me, I was still that boy on the cracked pavement, staring at the sky, wondering if I'd ever get up again. One morning, as I scrolled through my inbox in a high-rise office overlooking the city, a familiar name popped up. My brother. Hey, long time. Mom and Dad wanted me to reach out. Things are hard back home. They'd love to see you. I stared at the message for a long time. Part of me ached to go back, to see them, to show them the man I'd become. But another part, the wounded child still hiding in that dark bedroom, whispered, they didn't believe in you. They let you go. I closed my laptop. For now, my silence would be my answer. Because I wasn't the helpless boy they cast aside anymore. I was a man. A survivor. A fighter. And I had built a life they couldn't take credit for.